Or a couple of Wesley Blades in England. This one video is a response to a message I had a good couple of months ago, and it was to do with a product in a supermarket that we've got in England called Asda. It is part of the Walmart group, it has been bought out, and one of the stock items that they carry was a Santoku catering knife, a Japanese sort of style. And the question was poised, where it was, due to the fact that it looked quite thick, it was carbon steel, would it make a good cheap bush knife? Now my local store just didn't carry the range of stock, but I did get something similar in Lidl's. It looks a bit like that, but the only snag, good fun for me in the kitchen, the only snag was the holes that it put in the one that looked a good candidate, which to me was that one there. It's got a bamboo type handle. You would have to make a sheath, but you know, I'm quite happy to muck about my own little way and play around with those. But I wanted to do something that was a good semi-serious sort of presentation on getting a hold of something that's easily available and can be converted reasonably easy into something that should perform reasonably well. The thing that we're all up against when getting hold of something cheaply and not necessarily the right product, and then you're going to adapt it, is there's so much available for not much money. You know, for £12 to £15 you get yourself a really good Mora. I've seen these for £4.11. Mora 511. £4.11. The reissue, that's now you can't get all of them anymore. The 510. Great knife, less than £15. You know, they were 12. If you can get all of them now, you're going to tear a fair bit. The Holtefors, big, heavy, Mora type knife. Tango's about here, very capable. £15 for a Finbar, and if you're really crafty on Amazon in England, I think they're called Steel Solutions, and you can get a really nice little thing like that in jig bone in 01 tool steel. Don't pay full price, wait till they have a sale. To you, sir, £25. Okay, it makes a mockery of the expensive blades like a Woodlore, and people are considering, oh, I can't get one of those, and they may have a few of these, and they want something a bit bigger maybe, and they look at prices of other knives and they're looking at the get out clause. So either I'm going to prove it's possible, or I'm going to prove that, to be quite honest, stick with what we know. So what I have bought is a kitchen knife in stainless that is through tanged. Okay, it's not got a silly handle that disappears or is welded on. Okay, it's obviously been forged or ground. It has flush fitting handles excuse me, and riveted through. Now, do I think that those rivets will last forever? No. Okay, is it quite thick? Yes, it is quite thick. A full flat grind, it should perform pretty reasonable. Now, with the length that's available, I'm not going to just use it as it is. Okay, if you're going to buy something off the shelf, what is this good for? Kitchen tasks. Okay, this is not built for mucking about outdoors straight away. So I'm going to lose a fair bit at the end and cut it and change it to there, so it becomes BK2-ish. Okay, so it should have a fair amount of cutting, it should have a fair amount of chopping without that, in bush, almost pointless front end, because it hasn't got the weight, and it's full flat grind right down to there and right down to nothing. You know, paper thin, it's for kitchen tasks. So it's keep a bit of weight, keep a bit of stock up that end. I've only got 2.5 to 3 mil to start with, so let's forget about that end, make something shorter and stockier and see how it goes. So I'll cut the end off, slightly adapt it, and then see how it goes, and I'll compare it with pardon me, things around the price range, not necessarily the size range, because you can't compare that with a BK2, because it's £80. This was £4. Okay, so let's say for an investment of a tenner, because you're going to have to make a sheath for it. You're not going to take this out with a gaffer tape and cardboard sheath. I'd never endorse that. This is going to include in its make a really good leather sheath, minimum. If you're going to take it out in your pack, you don't want to end up damaged gear, or yourself or somebody else, because you've decided to try and save a few pennies, okay, for the sake of only a few pennies. Alright, so we're going to profile it, make a really good sheath out of it, some leather, and then see how it performs. Do I think it'll perform alright? Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Okay, it'll be good, but it's not designed to work out in the bush. Which brings me on to the whole point of how bush knives would have maybe come about. Traders disappearing out into the Wild West would have used initially kitchen knives. That's what was available. That was made quite prolifically, and so a lot of the trade knives, dag knives, dog knives, whatever they were called, can't quite remember, were basically butcher knives of this sort of size, but carbon steel. This in stainless, you know, it'll be useful because it won't rust so easily. Okay, so let's give it a go, see how it gets on, and we'll either dispel the myth that you can't do it, or we'll maybe give it some encouraging notes that actually it's not a bad idea. Okay, so rather than just everybody rushing out and trying to save yourself a few quid instead of buying the real deal, okay, oh, I'm going to go save myself some pennies, are you going to be wasting your time? Well, for the sake of 4 quid and a bit of effort, let me take the hit and I'll present it to you. So Scott from Wessex Blades with his can you make a decent bush knife out of something cheap and available at a supermarket? All the best, Scott from Wessex Blades.